All right, we're on day 5 now, and it's straight to a Jim Beam Double Oak. So, man, Master of Malt is, I remember last year, Master of Malt, every time I opened it, I got really excited about the next thing. This year, the first 5 in a row are, they're not bad. They're not bad, don't get me wrong. It's just not playing my song. And remember, taste and smell is completely subjective reality. So it's not surprising, and some people are gonna love this introduction to the Master of Malt Advent calendars. I also bought that boutique-y whiskey company Advent calendar just because I wanted something I could have at home and enjoy. So I'm guessing that's gonna be more up my alley when we get to it. All right, so Jim Beam, we're gonna give it a good old college try. Now remember, the Beam family is just goes back for damn ever in bourbon history. They showed up in Kentucky in the late 1700s, early 1800s. Originally a German name, B-O-H-M, and then changed it to Beam and Americanized it. Man, the Beam family is, what, 7 generations of making whiskey? As a matter of fact, the Beam family is almost entirely the master distillers for Heaven Hill as well. I'm not completely, but a lot of them. And Booker No, all of these guys are Beam family members. Frederick No, Booker No. Man, okay, so Suntory Beam is now the company, and I always really love the smell of Jim Beam. I think it's really nice and rich and vanilla and maybe even a little chocolate. But it's pretty smooth, very pretty. Yeah, this is just pure vanilla. That was really boring for a second, sorry. This is what happens when I don't have Rex to hang out with. You just watch me be an absolute nerd. Okay, so vanilla on the nose is the dominant flavor on the palate as well, and it just kind of goes right through there and ends with a little bit of a sort of a bitter wood note. Now, I'm guessing that's because this is the double oak. Now, what does that mean? It means they start with new oak barrels and put whiskey into it. And then at a certain point, they take a fresh set of new oak barrels and move the whiskey into those. So 2 rounds of, once the barrels have started to lose their first initial barrel oomph, they move them into another one for another round of barrel oomph. And you can taste it. There's a bitter aftertaste to this, to me, that's in a similar family to actual bitters. Like if you make a cocktail with bitters, and you get that sort of weird bitter aftertaste on your tongue. I get that with this whiskey. But around that, it's vanilla and fruit. I'm not a big fan of this one. It's just too sweet for me. And even the bitterness feels like an after effect instead of a cohesive part of the flavor. If you like Beam, you're gonna love this. It's a great kind of part of the family, and I like the fact that big brand names are trying interesting things. I think that should be rewarded, and that's why I'll always buy things like this to support distillers that I think are trying new things, right? Remember yesterday we had we're talking about Ireland and the craft distilleries, and I think in America, a lot of independent craft distilleries are really going out of the way to create remarkable things, and that's really exciting. I think we live in a golden age of whiskey. If you like exploring new whiskey flavors, you've never lived in a better time than right now. People are trying new things, but no age statement whiskeys. Some of them turn out badly. Some of them feel like just trying to make money. Others feel glorious and magical and feel like, oh, that's why we took the handcuffs off. And there's even a move in Scotland right now to try to remove some of the regulations that prevent Scottish whiskeys from distilleries from creating ryes and corn forward bourbon type whiskeys and things like that. I think that's great. I think what a great time to be alive. All right, I'll let this sit for a second. I'm going to give it one more chance. Yeah. Same thing. Heavy vanilla cream finished with actual drop of bitters. If you take the normal Jim Beam and add a drop of bitters to it, it would be a lot like this. All right, well, let's see what tomorrow brings. Until then, may your crazy stay this side of legal, and may you return before we have time to miss you. Cheers.